And the reason why it is at number one, because the quality of your goods will determine your service, and not only your service, it will determine the profitability of your business.
Yeah.
Because if you are not providing the quality that is expected from you by your clients, you will not be profitable. Answering this question, I would have to go back home, meet with my clients, and say to them like, look, this is what I will be providing to you, A, B, C, and D at this price, this price, this price.
That's
this
good.
Quality,
This
US quality, US standard, European quality, European standard, UK quality, UK standard. So wherever their budget fits, they would fall in that category. It's relative, but for me personally, building trust when doing business with a manufacturer, I would have to have first-hand experience and relationship with that manufacturer. So I think that in order to build trust with a manufacturer, I would have to come here first to build that connection, look at what the process is like, and see how they do business. Because we're doing the podcast, I'm saying it based off of my personal experience. Everybody's experience is different, but my personal experience was a 10 out of 10. I get to experience a lot of places. I get to do business, and also I get to relax. So I get a full package, which I enjoyed. So I'll be back. The first advice that I would give you guys, and I'm speaking from experience.
Hello guys, this is 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫, your reliable supplier in China. So today I'm with my good friend. She will introduce herself. So here we are doing a little podcast because we enjoy the business trip here in China. So we visited a lot of places. So we will talk about the business trip we had together. So since we are reaching the end, so we are doing a little summary, a little talk about the trip and so on. So guys, stay tuned and enjoy the podcast. So please, can you introduce yourself to our audience and so on?
Hi everyone, my name is 𝐬𝐿. I am from Jamaica, and I am also the owner of Build Smart Sourcing Limited, which is a sourcing and procurement company that facilitates the sourcing, procuring, and supplying of building materials to the local Jamaican market.
All right. So, is right now your first time in China?
Yes, it's my first time here, and the experience has been very good.
All right.
I'm actually enjoying myself.
Okay, it's good. So, once you landed in China, and then what was your expectation from what you saw online and when you visit yourself?
Well, to be honest, when I just came, I had the expectation that everything would be cheap.
Oh.
Yes, because that's the perception that I have of China back home, because you know everybody loves reasonable priced items, right? So I thought that, you know, when I came here, I would be finding a lot of things reasonable in the product area that I came to source on. So that's the first thing that I thought.
All right. Okay.
And also the weather. I was expecting Guangzhou to be very cold. I didn't know that Guangzhou has summer weather, like all year round. So that was a bit surprising to me as well.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so so now it's your third week in China. You are leaving China tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are you going to miss China?
Of course, I'm going to miss the deals, the shopping. For me, it's very therapeutic. It's something that I enjoy the most, and that's what I'll be missing the most. And also, like the environment, I like the freshness of the environment as well. It's very peaceful, very quiet, and I'm actually enjoying it. And also the quality of life here is very reasonable for somebody to, you know, afford. But in the third world countries, you know that it's a bit different.
All right. Okay. I see. So, once you've been in China, we visited a lot of like cities. We firstly went to Guangzhou here. We went to Foshan. We went to Shanghai. We went to Yiwu. So if you want to share your experience based on all the places you've been, what would be the best one for you? The best experience?
Well, the best experience that I got, I think it was in Shanghai. It was more a relaxed environment, aesthetically pleasing, but it's a bit on the pricey side. But I like it more because you're not seeing a lot of the people that you'll see in Guangzhou and the lifestyle that is lived in Guangzhou. You'll not see that in Shanghai, so the experience was different. I like the environment and I like how business is done in that city.
Okay.
Yes.
So your best experience is the one in Shanghai?
Yes, and I think Yiwu would be second.
Yiwu would be second?
Yes.
Yes. Why Yiwu that? You put Yiwu at the second place? Why?
Why? Because probably it's because that we didn't get to experience Yiwu a bit more, but I was in Shanghai for like a week, so I got a chance to really experience more. So probably in my next trip now, when we visit Yiwu a second time, if we like get a chance to stay there for some days, I would probably get a different experience. But I like the fact that Yiwu has a lot of variety, like one place.
Yeah.
Rather than in Guangzhou where you have to travel to different markets to find the products that you're looking for, you're able to find everything in Yiwu under one roof, which I think is very flexible and is very good and cost effective. And also the prices, I think that the prices were very good in Yiwu. But one thing that I didn't like though, in Guangzhou we have to travel a lot to go to the various markets, and I also think that they are very far.
Okay.
Yes. They're very far. So to find shoes, to find clothes, you have to visit various markets.
Okay. I see. So what do you think of Foshan?
What I think of Foshan? Well, Foshan for building materials is very good. I like the quality that Foshan has, and I like the fact that they have different standard of products. So you can get different standard of products, because when I came I thought that everything would be cheap, because that's the mindset that we have in most of the third world countries, because remember that the Chinese have businesses back home and they are very competitive back home with the prices because they sell their things very cheap.
Very cheap, yeah.
So back home we are conditioned that the Chinese products are very cheap. So when I came and I realized that here has different standard of products, now I was like, whoa. I mean, we can come here to get US standard, we can get European standard, we can get a variety, and I think that was very surprising to me, because that I didn't expect that. And I like the fact that the building materials are of really good quality. So basically, wherever your pocket is, you can find something to fit your budget, and I like that.
Of Shanghai, Yiwu, Guangzhou, and Foshan.
Yeah.
This is like that you ranked the cities from your point of view.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, I think it's good. I think it's good because we experiences a lot in Guangzhou, it's true. Also a lot in Shanghai, also in Foshan, also a lot, and we finish with Yiwu. I think it's good. So if you have to come back to China, which city you will visit first?
I think
based on the experience you are having right now.
I think that I'll visit Shanghai first.
Alright.
Maybe because it's closer to Yiwu and I would want to experience Yiwu a bit more.
Alright.
Because they have some very interesting products and also manufacturers that I would love to speak with. So I think that I would stay in Shanghai so that I can get easier access to travel to Yiwu and learn more about that city, more about the products, pricing, and all of those things.
Okay. It is good. It's good. So, what do you think of the price of the goods you see in China, based on what you see in your country? Is that any gap?
Yes, there's a big gap. There's a big gap because the prices back home, they're very expensive, but it's also based on the quality.
Okay.
Because certain building materials, you can get it very reasonable back home, while you have another category that is very expensive, and it also depends on where you are buying your building materials.
Okay.
So the market is very competitive where building materials is concerned, and I also think that the factor of the customs duty,
The custom duty, yeah.
yes, it plays a huge role in the pricing of those items back home.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times, a lot of the business owners, it's very challenging for them in terms of buying a container or 2 containers of goods, and then, so for example, you spend 40,000 US pack your containers, and then when you get back home, based on the amount that you have to pay in duties, sometimes it is really more expensive than what you actually paid for your items. And then now the business owners would try to recover the costs that they incurred in getting the goods, so it will be a little bit more on the pricier end. And we, the consumers back home, we tend to complain about the prices of the goods, but at the same time, the duties are really what is driving the costs of the products back home. But I think that most of the competitors back home, I think that most of them, they get their goods from here as well.
All right.
But what I noticed though, I noticed that the Chinese, they do business differently from the local competitors, because the standard of products that the Chinese sell, they sell a lower standard.
Lower standard.
Yes. To maintain a cheaper price. And that is what the Jamaican people gravitate towards.
Okay.
So the Chinese wholesales, they get a lot of support from the Jamaican community because of the products that they offer and also the price. I mean, the quality might not be the best, but it's more affordable to a lot of low-income earners.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yes.
I see.
So I think that the Chinese have mastered the income, the income gap within the country. So they focus on bringing products to the country that low-income earners can afford. And I think that that's why they are so competitive.
Okay. So I think that from what you said, I think it makes sense. Like if they buy something at cheaper, at lower cost here, it's possible for them to put a margin on it. Once they have to pay the shipping cost, the clearance, and the custom, there are a lot of things involving into the price. So that's why they prefer buy very cheap in China and sell at good price in your country. For several type of clients, they have different needs. Some they need high quality, some need lower. So it depends.
So it depends, yes.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. So I have one question. What do you think the quality of the product you saw here compared to what you have in your country?
Well, personally, I think that the quality of products here is way better than what I see in a lot of the wholesales. I'm not sure if a lot of the wholesales have probably their own factory here. So they make their own products and then they ship it out to Jamaica, but the quality is not as good as what I see here. Like for example, when I went in the mall yesterday, when we went to look at the clothing, I realized that the quality of the clothing and also the sizes were American standard sizes and quality. But back home in Jamaica, the quality of the clothing, some of them, they're not good, and also the size. So I realized that those clothing that are sold in the wholesales, the Chinese make them according to the Chinese size. So that's why when you buy certain things, it has to be altered because the sizing is different. It's also there's also the US standard sizing and quality here, which I think is also lacking in our market as well, because the products that they bring are relatively cheap and the quality is not so high. But I think they do that, as I said, to match the income earning capacity of the local,
yeah.
customers.
Okay.
Yes.
I got it. I think it makes sense. It makes sense. So if you want to judge based on the quality, you think the product quality here in Guangzhou and the one in Yiwu, which one is better?
I think that the product quality in Yiwu is better than the product quality in Guangzhou, because Guangzhou is more cheaper with certain product standard.
All right.
While Yiwu now has higher quality and more US standard. So I think that if I'm shopping for certain things, I would rather to go to Yiwu to get it if I'm looking for a certain quality of materials to provide to certain types of clients. So it would be based on the needs of my clients, so that would determine where I will purchase building materials.
Okay. So what's the name of your business, please?
Build Smart Sourcing Limited.
Build Smart Sourcing Limited. So that means you are into building materials.
Yes, building materials.
That's the reason for why you are here in China.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the connection between China and your? I mean, there's a lot of countries where you can go to source a lot of products. But why you choose China for that?
Well, personally, I chose China first because I know that a lot of local developers and contractors, they're getting their products from China.
All right.
On the local market, because a lot of them, they don't really get the time to travel to China to see what is here. So they will normally support the local markets when they buy certain things. But at the same time, it still is more expensive. And I know that when you're building a project, you want your project to be done at a certain time and still get your products at a certain quality. So I decided to come here first to see what the products are like, see what is on the market, speak with the manufacturers, look at the production process, and see if there is any gap back home, which there's a lot that can be filled from a different angle.
Okay.
Yes, so that's one of my reasons for coming here, and also to learn a bit more about the culture and learn a bit more of how the Chinese do business.
Okay. That was my second question. What do you think about Chinese business culture since you have been here?
Well, so far I think that the Chinese, they're very friendly when they want to do business, and I just can't understand why they love to give tea.
They love to give tea to people?
Yes, I don't understand why they love to give tea and why they love to give food. I'm not sure if they want to make you feel more comfortable.
Exactly.
But that is something that I noticed because I've visited several manufacturers and I've been given tea as well as snacks.
Oh, tea and snacks.
Yes, and I think that a lot of them are eager to do business with like Western world clients.
Okay.
Yes, I think that that's where the money is, so they're moving.
They're more focused on the money.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think of Chinese business environment since you're in China? What do you think of this business environment?
Well, I think that the business environment, it's very fast-paced.
Okay.
Yes, it is. That's the one thing that I've noticed, and I like the fact that they're very advanced in a lot of areas, which I think that can be applied back home. But because a lot of persons that are probably traveling from Jamaica coming here to do business, they're more focused on getting their products and going back home.
Okay.
So probably they're not really looking at how they can go back home to probably improve a certain type of business process or introduce a certain type of technology. A lot of them, they're not focused on that. They're more focused on getting their products from here, going back home, and to just carry on their business.
Okay, I see.
Yes, so when I came here, I learned a lot about the products, but I also learned a lot about how they do business, and I saw a lot of business ideas that can be used back home and can be introduced back home to improve the construction sector, because I was looking at how they do their construction, the type of materials that they use and all of those things. So I think that a lot of that can be applied back home in Jamaica. So I'm glad that I came here to get this experience firsthand so that I can take back all the information to the clients back home, like the developers and contractors, and also I think that the information that I will be providing to them, it will be very valuable because I am speaking from experience, because I came here, sat in the environment for myself, so I know what it is like. And I think that that is something that they will be looking forward to.
Okay. But speaking about the business environment in China, so once you compare it to your country, you feel like here is fast-paced.
Yes.
Everything goes very quicker.
Very quickly, and it's different. And also, I think that the customer service here is a 10 out of 10 compared to the customer service back home.
Okay.
Yes. And I also think that because Jamaica is a third world country, a lot of the technologies that are in a first world country like China, I think that if it is introduced back home, I think that a lot of the businesses back home will be more competitive and business will be done differently. But because we're not exposed to a lot of the technologies here and a lot of the system processes and all of those things, so I don't think that a lot of the entrepreneurs back home, they're aware of these things. So as I said before, providing this information to them, I think that it will be very valuable.
Okay. So I'm going back to the part regarding the quality of the product, because I asked you about the quality of the product you see in China, and once it's back in your country, whether it's the same quality, because the quality in China is quite a different from what you see the Chinese are selling in your country. So from your point of view, do you trust the Chinese factory in China? Do you trust them?
Well,
from what you saw here and where we've been is all.
Trust is relative, but for me personally, building trust when doing business with a manufacturer, I would have to have first-hand experience and relationship with that manufacturer. So I think that in order to build trust with a manufacturer, I would have to come here first to build that connection, look at what the process is like and see how they do business. Because remember, a lot of times you purchase things online is not what you get. And we in Jamaica have been conditioned like that. Boy, when you buy things from China, it come and it must be the exact thing that you purchased. So for me, I would have to build trust with the supplier, tell them what my requirements will be, and to see if they can match that. And if not, I don't think that I will work with them, because providing my products back home, I want it to be of a certain standard and of a certain quality. So working with a manufacturer have to be on the same page as me in terms of providing a certain quality.
Okay.
So me personally, I think that in terms of trust, I would have to trust my quality inspectors more than my factory.
All right.
Because they are the intermediaries between my business and the factory, and also the relationship that I will have with my clients. Because when you are not able to meet your clients' needs, that means you're not doing good business. And you'll not make like really profitable income, because you're not meeting the needs and the expectations of your client. And I don't want my business to fall in that category. So I think that coming here, getting to meet the manufacturer in person, sitting down with them, talking to them, explaining to them what my requirements are and what is expected, will lead up to me building trust over time. But it wouldn't happen immediately, because they have to meet a certain standard and requirement for my business personally. I get that other businesses might not do the same, but I want to have the same standard and the same quality from the beginning onwards, if you understand what I'm saying.
So, I see. So that's why you require us to do already inspection once we are about to load the container. Is that what you say?
Yes, very important.
Okay. So for you, the quality inspection is very important.
Very important. It's at number one.
Is it number one?
Yes, it's
All
at
right.
number one. And the reason why it is at number one, because the quality of your goods will determine
Your service.
your service, and not only your service, it will determine the profitability of your business.
Yeah.
Because if you are not providing the quality that is expected from you by your clients, you will not be profitable. Your clients will end up go somewhere else where they're getting better quality.
So, okay. You know, a lot of people, they want quality. A lot of people want quality, but whether your clients are ready to afford the quality, because we receive a lot of people from especially from Africa, for all over the world, they want to buy high quality product, but once they afford it or when they buy it, but the client back home, they think it's very expensive, because it makes sense, high quality products are not cheap. Exactly. So
No.
once you get the high quality, and then you include the shipping costs and all the documentation and the clearance, you are selling at a certain amount of price, you know. But whether your local client, they'll be happy, whether they'll be okay to buy it at that price. This is the question.
And that's why, answering this question, I would have to go back home, meet with my clients,
Yeah.
and say to them, like, look, this is what I will be providing to you, A, B, C, and D at this price, this price, this price.
That's
this
good.
Quality,
This for
US
this
quality, US standard, European quality, European standard, UK quality, UK standard. So wherever their budget fits, they would fall in that category.
That sounds
So
good.
I would depend on my clients to give me the feedback on the product sensitization
All right.
before I invest that much in a certain quantity and quality product.
Okay.
But at the same time, I still don't want to bring them something that will not even be durable within 5 years, within 2 years. Because I remember back then, when they used to have like the smaller size tiles like this size that they used to put in the houses, those tiles never used to last it long. Those tiles were not durable. If something falls on them, even though they're installed on the floor, they will crack or split, or sometimes the heat will split them. And I realize now that they're making better quality tiles.
Yes, it's true.
They're making better quality tiles now, so it depends on the expectation of the client. So once I know what the expectation of my client is and their budget, I think that I will be able to fulfill and to meet their expectations.
Okay.
Because not everybody is cheap.
But once we went to Foshan, there's one factory was selling tires to you, and then they took the tire, they dropped it on the floor,
And
but
it
it
didn't
wasn't
break.
broken. So you think that this type of quality inspection is good for you, or you need like further inspection more than what you say?
Well, it depends on the requirements of the client. If the
Depend.
client asks
Okay.
for further inspection, then that can be done.
Okay.
But I think that is still good enough information to show to the
To show-
client that, okay, I am selling these tiles at X amount of money, and this is the reason for selling the tiles at that amount of money, because this is the quality inspection that was done, and I think that it is worth what we are asking
Okay.
for.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the quality inspection is important.
Very important.
Okay. So that should have to be done before even loading a container.
Yes, I think that even have to be done before you decide on making large purchases.
Large purchases. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that for me is at number one.
Okay. So I'll ask you one question, a little bit personal.
Before we get to that,
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to add something more to quality inspection.
Go ahead.
The reason why I think that quality inspection is also important to me is because I know that sometimes during the production process,
Yeah.
a lot of the factories they don't meet the right qualifications, and they don't have the right certifications, and also I know that the quality inspector will go and inspect the facility and see how the production process is done. So I'm not only getting feedback on the product, but I'm also getting feedback on the factory.
The factory. Okay.
Yes, which I think is very important to know how the products are being made. What if they're using a certain chemical that's not to be used and certain things like that? I will know of that beforehand before even signing an agreement with that company and doing business with that company.
Okay.
So I think that for me is very important, and that's why I placed it at number 1.
Okay, but is it the quality inspection is important once you are signing an agreement with the factory? Because there's one factory in Guangzhou, I think. They want you to be the distributor in your country. Are you going to inspect all the product before you even sign an agreement with them?
Yes, I think that I would do that. I think that I would do that before I go back home to offer something to the local community, because I need to do my homework first before I come to provide a certain type of product or a certain type of service. Because remember, you know, back home, you will have the bigger fishes that are in the business of selling certain type of products. They'll be watching you.
Yeah.
So they will pinpoint and see if there's a loophole in whatever you're doing to come and attack you. So I have to ensure that I provide adequate information, do my research, and do the necessary steps first before I come to my local community to explain to them that, okay, this product is good.
Yeah.
The manufacturer is providing the products at a certain price and such and such. I would have to build like a better relationship with that manufacturer first, and once I see that I'm comfortable and they've met the requirements, that is when I think that I would go back home and introduce their products to the local market.
Okay, it's good. I think it makes sense. Thank you for making this point very clear for everyone. So guys, so the quality inspection is very important. So it's not only for her, but once you're placing order in China, you have to have a third eye, someone to check for you, double check everything before we even load it. This is very important. So guys, if you need any quality inspection, yeah, you have to reach out to us. And then if someone is doing business in Jamaica, you can be in touch with her. Okay. So, okay, we will move further in our podcast. So, I want to know, how do you find us?
Well, I was doing a little research back home because I wanted to come here like around 8 months prior to planning the trip. So I decided to go online and do some research and see if I find like a company here that facilitates traveling to China for business. So when I did that, I went on YouTube and then I found your channel, and then I was very intrigued at all the information that was provided, and also it made me realize that your company is credible to work with, and I felt confident and I felt comfortable, and that's why I made the decision to work with your team on traveling here, and I didn't regret it because the trip so far has exceeded my expectations, to be honest. And I think that all the information was provided to me, and all the experience that I got was even worth more than what I paid. And I also think that you guys over-delivered, which I love that. So I'll definitely be returning.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Thank you so much for your feedback. I'm also cold now, guys. This is the best feedback I heard. I think it's good. So, okay, what do you think of the hotel, of the trip we did here in China? What do you think of that?
Well, I think that the hotels that I've stayed so far, I think that all of them are very clean, and I think they're reasonably priced as well. They're reasonably priced. The price is not bad, but the only problem that I have is the fact that I am not able to find Western food. So that part for me has been a challenge. so far because I've lost weight since I came here because I've not been able to eat the food that I'm accustomed to back home.
Okay.
So probably on my next trip, I think that I'll be doing things a little bit differently where my food is concerned.
Okay, makes sense. So once we speak about food, I think this is also an interesting topic. So you try some African food, right? So what do you think of the African food in China, especially in Guangzhou? And then, is it your first time to try African food?
Yes, it's my first time trying African food, but I actually liked it. It's good. But the only thing, I didn't know that you guys don't put spices on your food. Like when the food is being cooked, the spices are added after the food is cooked.
Okay.
Yes, but in Jamaica we don't do that. We add spices and flavors and everything and cook our meats.
Okay, but if I have to make a comment on that, is that if you want to experience African food,
Go to Africa.
Go to Africa.
Yeah.
This is made in China African food. It's different. Okay.
It's
so
true.
I will advise you to travel to Africa to enjoy good African food there.
I also think that the food would have been nicer if
Yeah.
it were being prepared by Africans, because in all the
Exactly.
restaurants I'm not seeing any Africans.
Yeah, it's prepared by
It's
Chinese.
prepared by Chinese.
But the first one we went is prepared by Africans.
That one was good.
Yeah,
I
that was
actually
good.
enjoyed
All right.
that one.
Okay. So I think if you want to experience the good food, African food,
You
I
have to go
advise
back
you
to that
go
restaurant.
to one country called Ivory Coast. You go there to experience that good African food. That would be good.
I'd love to travel to Africa.
Yeah, you have to go to Africa and try. Okay, guys. Okay, that sounds good. And then, what do you think of the weather once you arrive?
Well, I think the weather in Guangzhou was surprising because I was expecting it to be cold. But I like the fact that I can dress relaxed here. I can wear sandals. I can wear anything that I want to wear here. But I didn't really like the weather in in Shanghai. It was very cold.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
cold
it was
Shanghai.
even colder than
Foshan,
Foshan.
yeah.
Yes. Foshan was more a little cold, but not as much as Shanghai.
Okay. Okay. So, if you want to rate our service, 10.
It's a 10 for me personally. It's a
Is 10 over 10 our
Yes,
service?
yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you
And
so
guys,
much.
I'm not saying it because we're doing the podcast. I'm saying it based off of my personal experience. Everybody's experience is different, but my personal experience was a 10 out of 10. I get to experience a lot of places. I get to do business, and also I get to relax. So I get a full package, which I enjoyed. So I'll be back.
Alright, guys. So, our service is 10 over 10, sorry, guys. So, that's very good. Okay, thank you so much for that rate. I think it's good. Okay, and then, this is also very important. I think we will move a little bit internationally. What Chinese are doing in your country?
Well, the Chinese are building a lot of roads back home. They're doing a lot of development where construction is concerned.
Yeah.
And I think that their work is really good. I have to commend them, to be honest. They're very hard working back home. And they gave us some really lovely roads.
So, what is the relationship between Jamaica and Chinese government? I mean,
Well,
what
I'm
is
not
the relation
really
they are
into
having?
current affairs like that, but I know that they have some like agreements in
Okay.
terms of the construction of the country. So the Chinese are building like a lot of public buildings now, and also the roads. That's where I see them. And also what I realized that some of the developers as well, they're working with the Chinese workers to build their apartments, because I've seen a few where they employ the Chinese to do the project.
Okay.
Yes, and I think the projects have been good based on the designs and everything that I've seen so far. I think that they're doing a fantastic job back home.
Okay. So, what do you think Jamaica should learn from China since you've been here?
I think that we should learn how to adapt to new technology and new ways of doing business. I think
Okay.
that will help us tremendously.
Okay. Is that only that? They have to learn from China since you're here? Maybe the road, the way they do business,
yes,
the way of thinking,
yeah,
maybe.
the way how they do business. I think that Jamaica can adapt a lot of that. They can.
They can try. Okay.
Even though it won't be easy because we're already conditioned to do business a certain way, but
Yeah.
for the entrepreneurs that are traveling and going to other countries to see how they do business, I think that they can go back home and implement a lot of these processes in their businesses
In your
locally.
business. Okay. Okay, I think it's good. So if you're from Jamaica, guys, you have to come to China also to see what is happening here, and you can copy some ideas and
Take back home.
take it to your country. That's very good having this podcast with you. Okay, and then so when you compare the Chinese food and the African food, which one you enjoy better?
I enjoy the African food the most. And I think that the Chinese food is just so much vegetables. I mean, I'm so tired of vegetables. They give you vegetables 24/7 and tea. And I think that that's why their skins are so beautiful, because they have a very clean diet.
Okay. That's good.
But boy, for me, I really need some ackee and saltfish, some stewed peas, some oxtail and rice and peas. I really miss the meals back home.
Okay, cool. How Chinese are doing in your country? What type of business they do specially? Are they in the real estate? Are they in the wholesale? What type of business they do in your country?
Well, the Chinese are more popular for wholesale, especially food and like household items. That's their specialty, and I think that they have mastered that market, because we have a place in Kingston called Downtown where it's populated by Chinese. 90% of the wholesales in that market are Chinese run wholesale. So I think that the Chinese are doing really well where that is concerned. And I see a few of them starting to move over into real estate, like developments, but I haven't seen a lot of them because I'm based in Kingston. I'm not sure about like probably Montego Bay, but I know that they're doing work in Montego Bay because they're building like a huge luxury apartment complex in Montego Bay, and I heard that that has already been sold out, and it's the Chinese that are building that one.
Okay.
Yes, so they're moving over to real estate now, and I see a few of the Chinese that own car marts, but not a lot, but they're more into wholesales.
Wholesales.
Yes,
In real estate.
very popular.
Wholesales.
Yes, not so much real estate, little bit. Yes, but real estate 90%.
90%.
Yes, not real estate, wholesale.
Wholesale 90%.
Yeah, 90%.
And then what type of wholesale is that? Clothing?
They have clothing
shoes?
wholesales, and they also have household and like haberdasheries, because Jamaicans love haberdasheries. We love wholesales. Even on a weekend, on Saturdays, a lot of the wholesales are always packed. The Jamaicans support the Chinese a lot, and I think that that's why a lot of the Chinese are moving to Jamaica, because the opportunity is great for doing wholesale business, because the Jamaicans love to shop at the wholesales, the Chinese wholesales.
Okay.
I personally love to shop at the Chinese wholesale, so I'm speaking based off of what I know.
Okay.
So they're doing very well in that capacity.
So if you want to invest in your country based on what you learn in China, what business you will do? You also do the same wholesale like those Chinese are doing?
Yes, yes, I
somewhere
would, but I would stick to like building materials.
To building materials.
Seeing that there's a lot of development going on back home, and also the construction market back home is very competitive. But also what I realize is that there is still a lot of new technology in construction that has not been introduced as yet back home. So the market is still competitive, and there's a lot of opportunities in the market.
Okay.
Yes.
Once you saw the hotel in China, the building and so on, you think that there is something to copy from them?
Of course,
to
a lot.
To your market?
Of course. Yes, a
like
lot.
What, for example?
Especially like the fixtures that they use in the hotels, and also the designs. I really love the designs, and one thing that I ensured that I did, I ensured that I vlogged
All
the
of them?
interior aspect
Okay.
of the hotels, because I think that a lot of the developers would be looking forward to seeing that, because a lot of hotels are being constructed now in Jamaica,
Yeah.
so they can implement some of those designs from what I have seen here. So as I said earlier on, I think that all the information that I'll be taking back home, it will be valuable.
Okay.
Yes, it will be valuable.
Okay. 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 So, is there any word you want to say to your audience, to your friend? I mean, the last word. If you have something to say, what will be it?
I would tell them, if you are interested in sourcing building materials in China, you can reach out to me via email and I will be in touch with you guys. That's what I would want to say.
You don't say thank you to Easy Trade Africa? Don't be
Oh
that
my God,
selfish.
but don't say that yet.
All right.
Yes, I would also like to thank your team. And I'd also like to thank Monica, especially because Monica have been communicating with me throughout this entire process. And yeah, I like the service that I was being offered. And also, I would like to thank you as well for being very patient with me and for being very kind, taking me to all the places that I needed to go, and also giving me a very valuable experience and exposure. So I didn't only come here to just get my business done, but I also experienced a different side of China other than doing business. And I really appreciate that. And as I said before, I'll definitely look forward to coming back here again,
Okay.
because I don't think that I've enjoyed myself enough.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm definitely coming back.
So, what advice you want to give to someone who is planning to come to China?
Well, the first advice that I would give you guys, and I'm speaking from experience, the first advice is do your research online and find a company that is credible to help you to facilitate your business trip, because remember that we have language barrier, because Western people, we don't speak Mandarin, we speak English. So if you're coming here and you think that you'll be okay on your own to find the markets and to meet the manufacturers on your own, it will be very difficult. So plan ahead of time, find somebody to help you to facilitate your trip. Know exactly what you are coming here to buy, because the markets are very far, speaking from experience. And also ensure that you have a very good budget. I think that should be at the top of your list. A very good budget. Ensure that you have a separate money aside from your budget for your personal self, to do like your little personal shopping, because you see a lot of things that you would want to like buy for yourself and probably to get other experience. Ensure that you have your transportation budget. Ensure that you have your budget for your tour guide as well, because you have to take very good care of your tour guide so that he can facilitate your trip and give you the best experience. And also be open-minded as well when you're coming here, and be open to like willing to learn and learn more about the culture, and to also take ideas back home. So not only come here to just do business, but come here to copy ideas and take it back home, because it will be very valuable in the long run.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very good, guys. These are very good tips.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, guys, I missed
Another
out one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Please to ensure that you bring your food, certain types of food that you know you'll want to eat here. Please to bring your food, like pack an extra suitcase with certain things from your home country that you know you'll want to eat here, because I am in that same problem. And if I had traveled with an extra suitcase with things from Jamaica, I would have had a lot of food to eat, and I'm not accustomed to the Chinese food, so finding food here has been very difficult for me.
Okay.
And I think that's all I want to say.
Do you advise someone to come alone in China?
Well, they can come alone, but they must have someone here to help them facilitate the trip, because it will be very difficult. And also, if you're coming here alone to do business, I don't think that a lot of the manufacturers will want to take you seriously. I don't think that they would want to take you seriously if you're coming here alone to do certain type of business, and also you'd want to prevent that language barrier, because a lot of them, they only speak Mandarin, they don't speak English. So you'll have a little challenges here and there. And also remember that we're not from here, so it will be difficult to navigate and find places where the markets are located. We don't have knowledge of the markets, so it will be difficult to find where we want certain types of products. So having someone here to help you, to facilitate your trip, it makes your trip easier and also quicker, and you'll also do your business smarter. So I think that it's a good investment. It's a good investment.
Okay. Are you done?
I am done. I think so.
Okay, cool. Okay, guys, so yeah, that was the podcast. I think like she gave you guys everything about the business show, the podcast here in China, and every information you need to know before coming to China, guys. So if you have to say, I think you've been in China for 3 weeks. At least you can say some Chinese word for the end.
Almost a month.
Yeah, so you can say some Chinese word for the end. Guys, you learn some Chinese word. Okay,
I only know one.
Yeah, say yeah.
A ni hao or something like so.
You say louder.
No.
What is that word?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
And then Chinese, how to say?
Ni hao or something like
Ni
that.
hao.
Yes, something like that.
Okay.
That's the only word I remember.
Okay, but at least you learned something.
One word.
Which is ni hao. I think it's good. Guys. She's speaking Chinese now, so which is good. So, okay. So if you're planning to come to China, this is what you will get from Easy Trade Africa. So guys, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. And then I'm 𝐬𝐮𝐬, your host, and ready to help you for your sourcing journey in China. And that's all. So feel free to be in touch with us if you're planning to come to China. Thank you, and see you for the next podcast. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.